Welcome to Mock Draft Fridays from Pride of Detroit. We are back here a day later than normal. Normally this is Mock Draft Thursdays, but we had some things to attend to. We're back here. We're less than a week away from the 2021 NFL Draft, so it's time for some more mock drafts. It's time to run some more scenarios, see if our Pride of Detroit and special guest experts can beat you, the chat, who will get to do your own mock draft of your own during this stream. My name is Jeremy Reisman. I'm the editor-in-chief of Pride of Detroit. I am the co-host, I will say, of Mock Draft Fridays. With me from Pride of Detroit is our good friend Michael Payton. Mike Payton, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here, ready to upset people.
Yes, that's what we're here for in our virtual Detroit Lions war room. With us is a very special guest. I know him personally from way back in the day when he was doing stuff for Bleacher Report for the Lions. Also did some stuff for MLive. Now he's a co-host of the 3 and Out pod with our good friend Ty Schulter and Samantha Button. Michael Shoddy is here. Michael, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I literally just said on Twitter, my first draft gig ever was they trusted me to do the weekend chat with Ty, literally all weekend long. We did it until like the very dregs of the priority free agency signings and for MLive. And it was just absolutely fantastic. And I was like 23 years old at the time and just loving life. So it seems fitting that I'm on with you guys. I don't do a ton of Lions stuff anymore, but it just seems fitting that I'm on with you guys right before the draft.
Yeah, and it's an exciting time. You know, Lions are obviously in full rebuild mode, and so this draft is kind of kicking things off. We saw a free agency period that clearly wasn't kind of focused on the future. So this is where the team is headed, is starting on Thursday. And so we're going to get a head start on everything and kind of work things out. If this is your first time here for Mock Draft Thursdays or Fridays, here's how it's going to work. So our panel of 3 will act as a Detroit Lions war room. We're going to go through the draft networks draft machine, which you can see is right over here on your screen. We'll run through all 7 rounds, see what we can do with the Detroit Lions mock draft. The decisions will be up to us 3. We're going to have to come up with consensus. And then at the end of that, you guys are going to get an opportunity to draft. So we'll run through the same mock draft simulator. We'll put up polls in the Twitch chat. So if you're on YouTube, you might want to kick over to Twitch during that time so that you can vote on who you want to pick. And then we'll compare both mocks at the end. We'll see who was the quote-unquote winner, and we'll have ourselves a good old time. Now, we've done this a couple times in the past with one stipulation, and that stipulation being you get one trade. And the Draft Network has a really cool function where they automatically propose trades and all that. We're going to do things a little different this time. We're still going to allow you to have one trade, but I want to try something different this time because everyone either assumes or tries to get the Lions to trade out of that number 7 pick. That's easier said than done. Everyone, I mean, we do this every year, right, Mike? Like, we're like, trade down. If you can't trade down, you're idiots, whatever. Sometimes the deals just aren't there. So tonight alone, no trading out of the 7 pick. If you want to trade out of the round 2, that's fine. It's okay, Michael. We'll be okay. Yes. So we're just gonna have to sit there at 7. We're gonna have to choose a person, and then from then on, if you want to do one trade, we can do one trade. But I wanna let's say, Brad Holmes gets to Thursday night, he wants to trade down, and the phone is just not ringing. He picks up the phone, he calls dial tone, no one. So we're gonna see what happens then. Everything makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Does it make sense to you, chat? Do you guys get it? It's very complicated. I understand.
Wait a second. Are you smoke screening me right now? Is that what this is? Is this a smoke screen?
Everything is a smoke screen from now until Thursday, Mike.
Get your cluster of players ready.
Cluster of players.
That's right.
Cluster of players needs to be ready.
We have no floor. No floor at all.
Before we get going, I have to say thank you, Nick Coscarelli, for resubscribing for 25 months. Nick, are you the leading subscriber? Is that the longest subscriber in the chat? You have to be up there. He says 25 months feels longer than I've been alive. Yeah, that's about as long as we've been streaming, so that's pretty impressive. All right, let's waste no more time. Let's get into the mock drafting. Start a mock draft again. We're using the Draft Network premium account, which allows us to make trades. But again, no trades in the first round, one trade the rest of the way. That's how we're going to do it. Guys, are you ready?
Let's do this.
All right, here we go.
I am so ready.
We're about to fight. Here we go. Mock draft begins now, and let me make it big so you all can see it. There we go. Here we go. Fire alarm's going off. All right, let's pause it right here. This has gone pretty much as planned, other than the Jets going Justin Field. So Zach Wilson is on the board. That's like the main weird part so far. Kyle Pitts at 4 is interesting, but not out of the question. I think a lot of people are starting to project something like that.
I would be shocked if the Falcons decided to stay with Matt Ryan for any longer than I mean with Zach Wilson there. That's a weird move to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
With Zach Wilson, I think you're right, but they are kind of locked into Matt Ryan for 2 years. I mean, they're basically in the same situation the Lions are in, right? Like they've got a quarterback that they're stuck, quote unquote, stuck with for at least 1 year, probably 2. But they're also kind of in a rebuild because they just blew up their regime. So I don't know what exactly the plan is there. I do think Kyle Pitts is definitely in play there. But Zach Wilson not being gone certainly changes things at the moment.
And I'll say, thank you. My fire alarm finally started going off. That's condo living for you. The media in Atlanta would be super happy about this. The media in Atlanta is super dialed into the fact that I don't think you can just get rid of Matt Ryan, but the fans would absolutely riot. The fans are just sick of not winning. The fans are sick of Matt Ryan. You know, the days of them sort of standing for him over Joe Flacco are over. I think they're just done with him. Like a lot of fans were done with Matt Stafford, even though he wasn't
the problem, the primary problem.
The problem at all.
All right. Interesting first 4 picks. Let's move it all the way to the Lions pick here. We got a whole bunch of trade offers, which, again, we're going to ignore because we're not going to trade down in the first round. That is our one stipulation. And so Zach Wilson is on the board. Oh. Which I almost feel like we should reset and do this over again because this is a little unrealistic.
I think you have to. Because the only way you can do this logically is taking Zach Wilson, but that absolutely is not going to happen.
I hate this. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, this is
okay. We'll restart it, but Mike, I'm curious. Would you take Zach Wilson in this crazy scenario?
Oh God!
Because I know you're not. You are very much against the drafting a quarterback right now.
You're trying to corner me into taking a quarterback. That's what this is all about. This is rigged.
Absolutely.
That Chipotle order leaking really ruined his stock. Is what happened.
Oh man! No, I'm taking Smith. Devontae Smith.
You take wait. You would go jump all the way down to Devontae Smith at this point? Not even an offensive tackle?
That guy can't even finish an order at Chipotle.
Look.
A burrito weighs as much as he does.
I'm not super hype about using the 7th pick to pick a guy who's going to play right tackle. I don't know. I just like that. Nothing about that sounds good to me.
All right. Well, we'll have.
I think
we'll have.
The Lions have a fine offensive line.
Let's. They have a fine 3/5 of an offensive. Oops, I just did a 1-rounder. All right, let's start this all over again because I think we can all agree Zach Wilson's not going to be there at 7 unless something insane happens.
It's a vicious start to this draft. We've got alarms going off. We've got
our pets' heads are falling off. All right, Justin Fields again goes 2, which has me concerned again. Okay, at least there goes Zach Wilson. Okay, we can work with this. Let's just pretend those 2 picks were swapped. Again, Atlanta goes Kyle Pitts, Jalen Waddle. Interesting. Okay, Jalen Waddle and Jamar Chase. So you could argue the 3 best pass catchers are off the board. Trey Lance is still there. Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Mac Jones, and then a bunch of defensive players. I'll throw it to you, Shotty, first. What are your thoughts on the board available here?
Man, there was, and what you're going to learn about me is I'm terrible with names. Like I know who I'm talking about. Rashawn Slater was just given a really awesome comp to the All-Pro guard from Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, wow! Now you got me going. Quentin Nelson.
Quentin Nelson, yes. So if you're telling me I can get a Quentin Nelson at number 7, if that's true, if that's actually the case, I am absolutely taking that. But that's in hindsight. So I don't know if I love Rashawn Slater that much. I actually like Penei Sewell more. I honestly, if this is the board, and I don't necessarily want a quarterback, I'm never a fan of taking the 4th or 5th best guy at a position, even if it's quarterback, even if it's a developmental guy like Lance. If I'm looking at this board, I'm saying Surtain.
Ooh.
I think I want Patrick. I think I want the best defender.
Ooh.
And go from there. Like, all of a sudden, you go from having a defensive backfield that's been a liability for my entire life, and now all of a sudden, maybe we're starting to talk about it as a strength. I could see that. I'm split. I would say either Trey Lance or Surtain here.
Wow. Okay. Mike, what do you think?
Well, you know me. I'm a skill position guy. Jalen Waddle is my dream pick. He's the guy I want the Lions to draft in real life and hope that they do. He's gone, and Jamar Chase was my number 2. So here I am with Devontae Smith. Fine receiver, Heisman Trophy winner. Certainly is wiry. I think is a good way to describe him. He can do about everything. I'm very, very concerned with his size,
Sure.
His lack of weight. His legs are incredibly skinny. Like, they scare me so much. Oh, man, and with that in mind, it's like, how can you not take Sewell here? Like, if this is what we have, you might as well shore up the offensive line to make it as good as you could possibly have it. But at this point, going that route, I mean, God, who's Goff throwing the ball to at this point? Rashad Perryman?
It is. I mean, it is a deep class at wide receiver, and I have a feeling we're going to tackle wide receiver sooner or later in this mock. So I think, right. Yeah, I mean, your best choice.
Why did you turn down those trade offers, you idiot? You absolute moron.
I mean, and it's interesting to me, like, would the Lions receive calls for Trey Lance right now, or would teams wait until Carolina was on the clock?
I think if the draft falls this way, I think they would 100% trade down. I think this is almost, I don't want to say nightmare scenario, but to have only 3 quarterbacks off instead of 4 or 5, but then also boom, boom, boom pass catchers. Honestly, if Kyle Pitts and Jalen Waddle are off the board, I could see the Lions trading up at that point, trying to leap, even just moving up one spot to make sure they get Jamar Chase. Like, that's how bad they need a pass catcher. I don't think they're going to like mortgage the future, but if the Dolphins say, hey, we're taking Chase or we'll swap you, throw in like a 3rd round pick, I think the Lions might do it.
Yeah, I do think it's a bit unrealistic to expect 3 pass catchers to be already off the board at this point. So maybe you're right. But I think I'm with Mike here. Like, Penei Sewell is this is a guy we were talking about going in the top 5 for the first 2-3 months of draft Twitter. And then all of a sudden he seems to be of cooled on. And yeah, I'm also a big Rashawn Slater fan, and they're really a 1A, 1B situation with me. But to me, Penei Sewell is a guy who can play left tackle. He's a guy who can play right tackle. If things somehow go sour with Taylor Decker, he gets injured, suddenly you have a guy who you can slide in right away. And I mean, I know he didn't play much right tackle. I think he did in high school. But I don't have any issues with him translating there, and I don't have any issues getting a guy to start at right tackle, because more and more we're seeing so many pass rushers come off that right side that it's almost as important as left tackle.
And we're seeing the right tackle in the NFL really rise in prominence over the course of the last couple of years. We've seen a lot of right tackles go in the top 10.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that big of a deal. Again, you're getting a starter either way. If you go with someone like Sewell, you're getting a starter. If you get someone like Surtain, you're getting a starter. If you get someone like Micah Parsons, you're getting a starter. But Sewell is probably the best player available.
All right, are we in somewhat agreement there? I know we're overruling you a bit there, Shadi, but
no. I even said just a few minutes ago, I'm a bigger Sewell fan than a Slater fan. I'm not loving the idea of taking another. Lions have just wasted a lot of draft capital on offensive linemen.
It's true.
And it's almost like I'd rather draft a right tackle in like the 3rd round, but best player available at a position you can use. That's Sewell.
All right, pick is in then with the 7th overall pick. The Lions are taking Penei Sewell, number 2, by the way, on the Draft Network's player ranking. So good value there. Let's see how the rest of the first round plays. Quarterback is still on the board. A quarterback might fall all the way to the Patriots here. No, wait a second. What's happening? Hold on. I need to pause this. Did I miss? Or is... Hold on. Who is still on the board here? Yeah, Trey Lance is still on the board.
Trey Lance and Mac Jones. Both
And Mac Jones.
I wonder if that's because I changed. So I don't know if the picks are going based on the whatever thing I have chosen here, whether it's the player rankings or the predictive board. But wow, that is a bit okay. There. Oh, Trey Lance goes to the Bears. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now we can start fielding trades if we want to. The Titans have called us to trade up. So we would be moving from 41 to 22. We'd have to give up a fourth and next year's first, but we'd get 22 and a second. Is there any? Do you guys have any interest in trading up at this point? We can look at the board really quick and see who's there. Okay,
Nope.
Hold on. Oh, I forgot.
Not let that happen.
Yeah, never. I just realized the rest of the draft went on.
Everyone wants you to move on.
Oh man.
Hold on. If I do counter offer, okay, here we go. Is it gonna? Okay, cool. All right, let's look at the board really quick. See who's up there. So we've paused at 26. Well, first, before we even get into like who's available, are you guys at all interested in trading back into the first round? Maybe using some of the draft capital that the Lions picked up in the Matthew Stafford trade, or are you in full? Let the board fall to you and accumulate as many picks as possible.
I think you got to let the board fall to you. I mean, trading back up is with the Lions having so little draft picks as they have, it just seems counterproductive. And having those extra first round picks the next 2 years, those are the things you're going to want to keep. I mean, I guess you could trade that third rounder or something like that, but there doesn't appear to be anything on the board that I think that the Lions need to trade back up for. I mean, Jalen Phillips is attractive, but I think he's a guy that might still continue to fall to the second round. So I don't know. I'm out on trading up.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. The other big thing to talk about is just the lack of premier talent in this year's draft class because of COVID, because the NCAA gave everyone an extra year of eligibility. There is going to be a stacked draft class next year. And I know we're talking about, there aren't any quarterbacks. That's nonsense.
Right.
That's just absolute nonsense. There are absolute quarterbacks next year. There's a ton of talent. There will be a probably top 200 next year that's equal in talent to the top 100 this year. It's rough this year. And so we're talking about deep receiver classes. We're talking about deep but not top heavy cornerback classes. You're going to be getting guys in the fourth or fifth round last year that you're going to be taking the second round this year. So don't trade up.
I'm with you too. And to speak further to your point, draft evaluations this year have to be lower than an average year, just because you have a lot of people who opt out. You have no combine, less in-person meetings, that sort of thing. So I'm with you guys. Accumulate as many picks as possible, if not this year, even into next year. So we're just going to ignore the trade up requests and see if we maybe get a trade down one.
Before we keep going, I think there's something that maybe we should bring up here. So Justin Fields, with the epilepsy thing, what do you guys think is the chance he's a guy that's going to wind up falling draft day?
I don't think that's going to have any impact on it. The epilepsy thing. I mean, he played it. How is that any different than? How's the NFL any different than college in that aspect? I don't know. It just feels like every week something else pops up with him and trying to drag him down almost. And in that sense, I almost feel like there's a team out there trying to sabotage his draft stock so that he falls to them or something. I don't.
Alabama.
Maybe
that's who's trying to do
maybe.
It. Actually, in his case, probably more Georgia than anything. It's not even a Mac Jones thing. It's just Georgia fans who are upset, or Georgia personnel who are upset. We had Alan Faneca on 3 and Out probably about a 2 months ago, and he battled epilepsy his entire NFL career. It's a thing that popped up for him in high school, and he's a Hall of Famer. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's something that you manage with medicine, and if anything, he's going to be able to shine a light on the fact that this is not a thing that dooms you. You can still be the second or third overall pick in the NFL draft with a thing like epilepsy.
A couple questions quickly to answer from our chat. Who are the people hosting this? Hi, I'm Jeremy. Below me is Mike Payton, and below him is Michael Shoddy of the 3 and Out podcast. If you don't know Mike Payton, he works for us as well, Pride of Detroit. And yes, if you're wondering what our picks are, just one, Penei Sewell, and then we've done a whole bunch of chatting. Let's get this thing back on track so that we can get out of here in a. We always promise to have this around an hour, and then we always end up going way over. All right, Lions.
Mac Jones is on the board.
Is he still on the board?
I think Mac Jones is still on the board. This is insane. You can't make the pick because it's so unrealistic, but
okay. We have got 3 offers. Let's talk about them before we talk about maybe who we pick. So we've got the Chargers, who are trying to jump up 6 spots. They're just offering a 6th round pick. So a day 3 pick. The Lions don't have a 6th round pick, so that might be a little attractive. The Cardinals are offering a 5th and a 7th this year, a 5th next year to jump up 8 spots. And I think this is good because it kind of shows the value of, we talk about trading down in the first a lot and the Lions picking up a day 2, maybe even a first round pick next year. Moving down in the second, you're not getting that kind of returns. You're getting day 3 picks. So here again, we got the Patriots offering a 7th and next year's 5th. Not huge returns, but again, you're getting more scratch off tickets. You're getting more ammo in the draft. So are any of these popping out to you? We can always kind of re-look at these once we look back at the board. But to either of you, is there something like, okay, I would definitely consider that right now?
Yeah, I would say that middle one is that. Who is that we're talking
Cardinals.
to? Cardinals. I would counter offer that. Try to see if you can maybe raise next year's pick a little bit, because again, if you're talking a 5th round pick next year, that's probably closer to a low 3rd this year, just in terms of talent that's probably going to be available because of those opt-outs, because of COVID. So that's one that I would consider. You're not moving down a ton. I think there's a lot of talent left on the board. Honestly, when those, I think both Azeez Ojulari and one of the other Jalen Phillips, I think they're both off the board. So I think those are the players that I was kind of targeting with this pick. I think you're fine moving down at this point.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, the 2nd round pick's a curse anyway, so we might as well just go ahead and
what running backs are available? There's got to be a running back available that we can pair with the guys we currently have.
How dare you? First of all, if there's anything that the chat knows about me, it's that I absolutely hate drafting a running back in the 2nd round or higher. So we will not be doing that. I will veto it immediately. But before we go accepting a trade, let's quickly look at the board, and then we can maybe try to squeeze a little bit more out of the Cardinals here. All right. Look at that. Running back is the top player available. Okay. Javonte Williams. So we already got our offensive tackle. So I think, popular picks here are wide receiver. You got Elijah Moore still on the board. Dwayne Eskridge is a guy who's been raising up the boards a lot. If we want to go defense, we talk about safety a lot. Javon Holland, I think, is a guy that'll go a little bit higher than people think, maybe right in this era. Same with Richie Grant. I think he's another guy. And Jamar Johnson, we've talked about endlessly. I'll go back to...
And Javon Holland is one of those players that, for me, it's probably more of a cornerback pick for the Lions than anything, because he's probably playing more nickelback for the Lions in sub packages. So I think that would be a solid pick. And again, if he goes off the board right here because you're trading back 6 or 7 slots, you're not killing yourself at that point.
The other guy I think I would consider if we're staying at 21 is Jamin Davis. Dude is huge and incredibly fast, like incredibly athletic. And that's what the Lions need to get at linebackers, just get speedier. And we all know Matt Patricia's linebackers aren't speedy. We know that, if we're talking about Jelani Tavai's time for the roster is probably not very long. I don't know, Mike, what are there any names in here, maybe positions you want to look at that you're thinking the Lions might target in that 2nd round, especially if they go offensive tackle right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, I like Eskridge a lot. He's a very athletic receiver. He's kind of a bigger guy. I think that the Lions could definitely pick somebody like that. I think if you want a linebacker, Dylan Moses hasn't been picked yet. And there's a good chance, there's a possibility he could fall all the way to the 3rd. You still have an opportunity there with a pretty good guy who, obviously has some injury issues. But I would go with Eskridge here. That's my pick.
Do we want to still kind of try to trade down and see if we can squeeze an extra pick or two out of the Cardinals? I think if we're going to do a trade, we might as well do it now. Like, this is when we're going to get the most value, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think either that trade or who was the other one?
I totally forgot.
Is it the Chargers? The Chargers want to move up with us too.
Yeah, I think that's right. Let's do the Cardinals because that's the one I remember. So they offered what, a 7th and next year's 5th.
Yep.
Let's see if we can turn that into a 6th and next year's 4th.
Sure.
Okay, we got a somewhat likely thing. Let's send that offer. Let's see what they say. Boom. Done. We got it.
Wheeling and dealing. Give it to the mustache.
So we got an extra 6 this time, and then we're gonna have to remember when we factor in whose mock draft was better that we got a next year's 4th as well. All right, so we're gonna have to sit on our hands for a little bit. Let's see who we missed out on. All right, we're done making trades. We're only doing one, even though we could definitely pick up some more picks, and the Lions could certainly do more than one draft day trade. But let's see. So we lost out on Jamin Davis. We lost out on Jason Owe, but no wide receiver went. We still got Jabril Cox there. We still got a couple safeties here. This is where it gets tough because Javon Holland did go. So Jamar, if we want to go safety, my favorite guys are these two, and then there's kind of a big drop-off for me if we want to go safety. But again, wide receiver is a pressing need. I don't know how long we want to wait on that. Linebacker is always a big need, and Jabril Cox, there's not a lot of great options behind him.
Christian Barmore,
is he still on the board? I miss that.
I think we at least got to talk about it.
Yeah.
You get the 4th or 5th best receiver, 4th or 5th best linebacker / edge rusher, or do you grab the best interior defensive lineman in the draft? This is a guy that a lot of guys think can go first round. So I'd at least talk about it. Like you're looking at someone like him and Creed Humphrey as really the best of their position. If you were going to play Creed Humphrey at or Wyatt Davis at guard, you could really shore up the offensive line. So you almost have to go receiver at this point because you didn't go first round. But honestly, I would probably go Christian Barmore.
Yeah, it's tough. And it's tough. I mean, we've run into this kind of conundrum every time where it's so tempting to go wide receiver offensive line with pick number 1 and pick number 2. But, like, we're talking about the 32nd ranked defense and not spending a day 1 or the first day 2 pick on defense. And there's something that just inherently feels wrong about that. But value is value. And if the top value you get at this time is offensive line and wide receiver, then I say do it. But man, there's some tempting options on defense. Mike, what are you thinking?
I'm sticking with Eskridge. I mean, you lost out on Jalen Waddle. Eskridge is basically Jalen Waddle light. Jalen Waddle. I think you could still do a lot of the things you could have done with Waddle with Eskridge. You could use him as a decoy. You could use him as a yak type of receiver. He's got speed. I feel like that's our best.
But above Elijah Moore at this point, like I'm surprised Elijah Moore's still on the board.
Yeah, I have a slight preference for Elijah Moore as well. I mean, you see right here, he fills 2 big needs that the Lions need right now, which is slot receiver and kick returner. You don't have Agnew anymore. You're probably not bringing back Amendola. You have some speedy guys, but none that really can come in right away and play the slot. And I think Elijah Moore can do more than just be a slot receiver eventually, but I think year 1, he's your starter at slot receiver.
I just think, I don't know. I just think with Eskridge, you get more of that Tyreek Hill type of play. And I mean, I think the NFL is really starting to move towards that, the chunk plays, yak, all that sort of thing. And I think you can get that with Moore, but I don't know. Eskridge just seems a little bit more attractive to me. Plus, Kent Lee Platt, our friend Kent Lee Platt, really pounded the table for Eskridge, and he's got me really attracted to him. So.
Are we settled on wide receiver here at least, or do we want to talk a little bit more about the defensive guys?
Is Asai still available? Because that was the other defensive player that I was sort of looking at from Texas.
Yep, Joseph Asai is still there.
I mean, that's honestly and Basham. I mean, it does feel wrong in my soul to go offense twice.
Yeah.
That absolutely could. And I've always been a proponent of, rather than saying, hey, we're going to shore up our worst areas, make some of your good areas a strength, a real strength.
Right.
Don't just muddle around. So receiver's not that. I don't think any of these are that. What are the strengths of this roster? But honestly, it's best player available. And I honestly, in all love to you, Mike, I do not think Eskridge is the best player available right here. We're drafting maybe 10 picks later. That could be the case. But Barmore and Osai are both, in my mind, far more best player available. And maybe Elijah Moore.
Oh, man.
We might be able to get Eskridge in real life. We might be able to get him top of the third.
I think I'm willing to take that chance too, honestly, with wide receiver in general, because there are
and the other receiver that was on the board, not only Elijah Moore, but Amari Rodgers. Amari Rodgers, I think, is better than Eskridge. He was better Senior Bowl week. He's even if you don't think he's better, he's basically a similar player that can do a lot of the same stuff. I think we're gonna get a guy just like Eskridge, maybe not quite as good at top of the third. Whereas you're not gonna get a Barmore, you're not gonna get an Osai.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think we're really mortgaging our receiving core at this point. I mean, Barman's great. Man, God.
It's tough. It's tough. And this is, I mean, these are the conversations that they're going to have. And hopefully they've already had it so they aren't, spending 15 minutes per pick like we are. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning defense, and part of it is I think this is a deep enough wide receiver class where you might be able to get a starter in round 3. Not to mention, I think wide receiver in general is just a position you can find talent at, even in free agency. It's just an easier need to fill than, say, offensive line or linebacker or safety or corner or whatever, or edge defender. I mean, edge defenders are almost impossible to find in free agency. So, problem is I'm not set on a defensive prospect, so that's making it tricky for me. But I think we just got to make a decision here. Do we want to go? I don't know. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm good with going with Moore. I think Shotty likes Moore too. I mean, but it's we're a collective war room here. We got to agree on something.
True. So we're going back to wide receiver now, though.
So Moore is the best player available at a position that we're absolutely just worst at.
Yeah.
But he's not the best player available. And you can use a defensive tackle, you can use an edge rusher. I would be fine with Moore too. But that does, to me, it seems more like we're all settling for him more than we're all really excited about him. And I don't know if a team should be settling for just, if you go back to wide receiver for a second.
Yeah.
It just keeps scrolling down because, again, when you're looking at Eskridge, is Eskridge that much better than Seth Williams? Is Eskridge that much better than, keep going down, Kay Johnson? Is Eskridge that much better than Cornell Powell? You have similar types of players. If Eskridge was another foot taller, like amazing at the point of contact, all that stuff, I would be right there with you. But he's a shifty route runner. He's quicker than he is fast. Grab a guy like Nico Collins and pray. I do not think you're getting an impact starter with Eskridge. And maybe that's just I don't like him as much as you do.
What about Darden or Frank Darby? Are these guys that we can get later? I mean, they're
100%.
Some decent receivers as well.
Sure.
I would rather have Austin Watkins in 2 rounds than Eskridge right now.
All right. Well, then let's focus on defensive just really quick, and then we got to make a decision here because we're definitely over the real clock at this point. So
if the Vikings can do it, we can do it too.
Yeah, right. So Osai, Barmore. Do we want to try a guy like Jabril Cox, or again, I'm a fan of both these two safeties. What's the is there a consensus in this war room about any of these guys?
Well, football games are traditionally won in the trenches.
Sure.
So says the old people.
Yep.
So I think you got to go Barmore.
Yep.
The Lions have a real weakness there, so I'm going with Barmore if we're going defensive. That just sounds like we.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, the Lions did pick up Michael Brockers, but who better to learn how to be Michael Brockers than having Michael Brockers already on the roster, right? Because I do think they'll probably play a similar role, that penetrating 3 checks. So, and the Lions, I think they're trying to get more one gap on defense, getting guys that can penetrate, disrupt. Christian Barmore's certainly a dude that can do that. All right.
That's my guy.
All right. We finally made a decision.
Lock it in.
With the 49th pick, which is, by the way, the exact rating of the Draft Network on Christian Barmore, so we're getting good value again there. We're taking Christian Barmore. Boom. Done. Signed. Sealed. Delivered. We're getting more trade offers. We are pulling that phone off the hook because we made our one trade. No. Stop it. Stop it. All right.
No one wants these picks.
So again, we only have one wide receiver. Oh, there go a couple. So there goes Elijah Moore. Amon St. Brown. Jets chill out. There goes Dwayne Eskridge. Shoot. And there goes Jamar Johnson. Richie Grant. God. Oh, my safeties. All right. Back on the clock. Let's look at the best available players by player ranking. Mac Jones is still on the board.
All right. If Mac is there in the third, we'll take him.
For realism's sake, I'm not going to take him. But, I mean, again, I think it's probably because we have the player rankings instead of the predictive board. So whoever told me to change to player rankings, this is your fault in chat. But, of course, the top 2 players, according to them, are interior defensive linemen, and that's who we just picked. So, Amari Rogers is there. Tylan? Is it Tylan? Tylan Wallace?
Tylan.
Let's look at safety. I mean, your top 2 tiers, I think, of safety are gone at this point. Darius Washington is a guy that I like that we can probably wait a little bit to get. If we want to look at wide receivers.
I love Amari Rodgers.
Yeah.
I absolutely love him.
I feel like we're drafting a receiver in the first round next year.
Again, primary slot receiver. So probably has a starting role in year 1. 5'9", small dude, but kind of big. I mean, 211 is nothing to. It's not Devontae Smith.
Yeah, one of our draft interns when I was back at Brawl Network, guy who'd gone to the scouting academy, just one of the smartest guys I've ever met, called him a combat wide receiver. He's one of those guys who every single yard he gets is going to be like he's on the front lines of some Vietnam battlefield. I think that's the kind of guy. He's Golden Tate. I think he's Golden Tate. You put a Golden Tate in this offense when you don't have anything else. I like Tylan Wallace. Those are the only 2 that I would probably take right now, but I like Amari Rodgers a whole lot more.
Let's look.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm with Shadi too. At this point we gotta pick a receiver. We're cornered into the we're a dog cornered into a cage right now. We got to start biting.
Okay. You know what? Let's not complicate things then. Let's not waste the time like we did in our last pick. Let's just go for it. With the 72nd pick, Amari Rodgers. Welcome to Detroit. Boom. All right. So now here's a look at who we've got so far. Penei Sewell, Christian Barmore, and Amari Rodgers. Not bad. You got the top offensive tackle in the class. You got top defensive tackle in the class. And you got, I would say maybe a tier 2, tier 3 wide receiver. Hitting on all your needs, getting good value, I think, at each pick. I don't hate this draft so far. I think it's pretty good. Not to mention we have an extra, 6 and a next year 4? I'll take it. All right, now we are to the Lions compensatory pick in the 3rd round, 101. Let's kind of just, what position are you looking for at this point? So we've tackled offensive line, we've tackled defensive line, we've got a wide receiver. Does at this point does position even matter? I mean, does need even matter at this point, or you're just grabbing guys that are good value here?
What's our linebacker situation looking like?
Good question. So I know Dylan Moses is a guy that, I mean, either people hate him or people love him. But coming from Alabama, obviously you get a lot of attention. Linebacker situation is definitely poor right now. Chaz Surratt is another guy.
He is not making us faster at linebacker, though, is he?
Not particularly.
Chaz Surratt would.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we're getting value at linebacker right now. I think our defensive backfield is still. That's probably the one place where every pick I've been like, do we go defensive backfield? And we haven't yet.
Yeah.
Um,
So there's a look at your corners. Kelvin
That ain't great
Joseph. Yeah. And that's the thing I keep coming back to is like by the time you get to this pick, it's clear you're not going to hit all of your needs in one draft. It's clear that unless the Lions do like a double trade down in the first round, they just aren't going to have enough picks to fill everything you need. And you're going to, at this point, you either decide you're going to reach at a position or you're just going to take the best player available and forget about your primary needs.
I really like the running backs available.
Oh God, no.
Those are three. Honestly, I like Stevenson, I like Sermon, I like Gainwell. Those are
Shadi, if we decide to take a running back, I'm not sure you're ever going to come back on the show. I'm just letting you know now.
Right. I mean, they have Swift, they have Jamal Williams, they have Kerryon Johnson. There's just no need there for it, if you ask me.
So, what are you thinking, Mike, in terms of position, in terms of players? Or is there a player on this board that you like? Is there a position you think the line should at least try to get here?
Look, I mean, right now, we looked at the defensive backfield. None of us were happy with what we saw. I mean, or overly excited.
Yeah.
I think that linebacker is a real issue on this team, as we know. The lines are constantly getting beat over the middle. I think you got to take your chances with Dylan Moses at this point. I think he's the best linebacker on the board.
We have another pick in 10 picks now.
Yeah,
like
10, 11.
We're not far off.
True.
I do wonder. Same exact sort of thought process that Mike was doing, but at edge. Look at the edge players. I think you're probably gonna get better value at edge than you're gonna get if you draft. I think you're overdrafting Dylan Moses just from a physical standpoint. I know he's a good player, but you need pass rushers too.
Yeah, I mean the Lions are also in kind of a very weird, precarious spot at edge rush, right? Like they just invested a lot in Romeo Okwara. They just drafted Julian Okwara. They're still probably trying to figure out what they have in Austin Bryant, but none of those feel like a premier guy. And not that you're going to get a premier edge rusher in this year's draft class, especially at the end of round 3. But yeah, they could use some depth. They could use some developmental players. It's not a huge need either, but again, you're kind of running into this conundrum. Do you draft for need? Do you draft for value at this point? And maybe there's a little bit more value in edge here. It's not a ton of extra value, I would say. I don't know. To me, I almost like Chaz Surratt a little bit better than Dylan Moses at linebacker, and I think really either is decent value here. I mean, you can go based on the Draft Network's rankings or not. Let's see their predictive board. You're getting a deal here in Chaz Surratt, and they're a little bit lower on Dylan Moses than or the predictive board is a little lower than their player ranking there. But I think I'm also kind of lining linebacker here. Because I do think Chaz Surratt makes a lot of sense in terms of speed. Ran a 4.59, definitely up there in athleticism, and I mean an 8.52 RAS. Finally get some athletes there that aren't Jalen Reeves-Maben.
I just
go ahead, Mike. I was gonna say I would go Surratt too over the 2 for that exact reason. I think the athleticism at linebacker is what we've been missing. Honestly, I didn't think the Lions were going to let Jared Davis walk. It was probably the right decision to let him walk, but I was super excited to see a player like that in the new defense. And I think Surratt he's not Jared Davis, certainly, but I think he's a much better athlete. I think Dylan Moses would do a lot of the same things we've been expecting our middle linebacker to do for the last decade and just be really slow doing it.
Oh, I'm the type of guy that I get worried about things that really don't matter all that much. Like, who has Surratt played against? Like, that's an issue to, I look at Dylan Moses, and this is a guy who plays in the best conference in all of football in a pro style team, basically, that could have beat the Detroit Lions of 2020
with 5-star athletes in front of him and 5-star athletes next to him and 5-star athletes behind him. So It's kind of 6 and one half dozen of the others. I mean, Surratt was a star player where he was. Dylan Moses was just kind of another player at Alabama.
Okay. It sounds like you guys both want Surratt, and I will take the Martha Ford and just let you guys.
You
All right.
the body.
Hey, we're getting the position you wanted though, so it's a collaboration there. We're trying to be a collaborative process here, where everyone's rowing in the same direction here.
Well, athleticism is what the Lions need at linebacker. Surratt is there; he's got the athleticism. You guys both seem to like him. I don't hate him. I just like Moses a little bit more, but I feel like let's go with Chase Surratt.
All right. Picks in with the 101. Lions second, third round pick. Chase Surratt. There we go. Bolster that front seven again. And we don't have to wait too long because guess what? The Lions are just about to be right back on the clock with their fourth round pick. All right. Your running backs are still there. Tempting.
I was just talking value. I don't know if I love the idea of drafting a running back either, but the value was certainly there.
We still haven't gone secondary. Who did we miss out on? So, unfortunately, Kelvin Joseph, who was kind of the one corner I was still looking at, is gone. We saw a couple safeties go in between there too. 3 corners, so not a great run of players for us if we're trying to improve the secondary here. Now it seems like I do like Darius Washington. He's kind of someone I would consider here, and if you're just going based on player ranking here, it's a bit of a reach. I wonder what the predictive board says. So
I'm not 100% sure he's a draftable player.
Really? Okay. Explain.
So the thing that I kept sort of leaning on with Darius Washington was, okay, he's small. He's legitimately like one of the smallest players in the draft class. I mean, he's like Devontae Williams slight as well. But then his RAS score came back, and it was terrible even at explosiveness and athleticism. He's not an overly good athlete either. And so that's one where, okay, if he's small, I mean, this goes back to what Mike was saying about who's he played against. He was an impact player at TCU. Yeah. You can be the best player at TCU, but he's not big and he's not an athlete. So what's he going to do at the next level?
It's fair. He does remind me of Quandre Diggs a little bit, though. He's a small, ferocious guy. He's a guy that just like he attacks, and you see, like Brad Holmes was talking today about getting football players, guys who show grit, guys who show the right kind of character. And I think Darius Washington is that dude that shows the grit. And yes, he's going to have a lot of physical limitations that he's going to have to overcome. But again, we are drafting in the 4th round here, and we are taking swings, kind of no matter who we're picking here. And safety's still a huge need. So I don't know. He's tempting to me, but I think you're right. There are a lot of red flags in terms of just who he is as a physical specimen.
And I don't know if this is the draft class to reach, because again, you're not going to be good this year either way. Right. I know it's hard for Lions fans to hear, but if you're not going to be good this year either way, you're drafting best player available because you're restocking even the back end of your roster. Yeah. And are you going to be able to use a player like Darius Washington if he doesn't end up being that guy? Are you going to even have him in the roster in 2 years? If he doesn't overcome those things, he's not an NFL football player.
I mean, he could do some special teams, maybe.
Maybe, but even that point, you're not blowing up I get that there's not wedges anymore, but
right,
like
you don't need a Zach Follett necessarily.
You're not even that
fast. Okay, that's fair.
Who's our best player available? Who are we talking about? Looking at the all. If running backs aside, I think you can make a case for another interior offensive lineman. Sure. Or sorry, another offensive lineman, because now we're going interior. Yep. I think you can still make a case for edge. I like Rashad Jr. Honestly, I would take Robert Hainsey from Notre Dame as an interior lineman, not as a tackle. I think you can make a quarterback argument at this point.
Why though?
I know fans hate it, but you're essentially drafting, hopefully, your next starter. And can you?
In the 4th round,
right there, Quinn Meinerz. The fact that Meinerz is still on the board is potentially realistic. That's your starting right guard for the next decade. That's my guy.
Yeah, take him, block him up. He's there.
You're in for this, going 2 offensive linemen, Mike?
Look, I don't see anything on the board that is getting me overly excited.
Okay.
Now I see a right guard for the future there.
Sure.
And look, let me drop a tiny little bomb here, because maybe it's a big bomb. I don't think the secondary is that bad. Look, I think that there's a lot there with a lot of young guys that could really benefit from better coaching, and I think
Sure.
that Aaron Glenn is going to be a much better coach for them than I forgot the dude's name already.
Matt Patricia.
No, yeah, well, Patricia plus their defensive coordinator, Potentially, or whatever his name was, I can't remember.
Whoever it was, he was just Matt Patricia.
Right. So, obviously, I think safety is an issue because Will Harris is really bad, or was really bad last year. But I think you have a lot of good players around him, and maybe Marlowe can fill into that Duron Harmon spot. And I don't know. So I'm not sort of apt to jump into a secondary player this high. And believe it or not, I'm actually kind of with Shoddy on the quarterback idea, because the Lions need a backup quarterback.
No, they don't.
According to the Packers, they have a legend.
Yeah, exactly.
Backup. But
they've got two backup quarterbacks.
Has anybody ever seen that guy play? I mean, I've never seen him play before.
I don't think it makes
personally.
I don't think it makes any sense to take a quarterback not in the first round. If you want to take a quarterback for the future, you're going to have a shot at 1 at 7. So take one there. If you don't want to take one, then everyone else is going to be a developmental backup, and you have literally 2 of those on the roster right now.
But Tom Brady was a 6th round pick.
Okay, all right.
No, take the right guard, because again, we've all agreed that games are won in the trenches, and if you can continue to build up that offensive line, why not?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me, because I'm kind of with someone in our chat, Michael T. Dunn, who says you cannot go 2 offensive line here. We have so many offensive linemen: Crosby, Vaitai, Stenberg, Nelson. Stenberg is a guy that kind of gets lost in all this, and it's an interesting case, because I don't know if Stenberg is really going to stick around long in this. I mean, obviously we're talking about a regime that didn't draft him. The offensive line coach is the same as years previous, so they're going to know for sure. But I don't know. Are we dooming Stenberg to never even having a shot at a starting job at this point?
Dude didn't even see burn in year 1.
He didn't.
I mean, it'd be one thing if he had played well in spots and maybe just didn't get the right matchups, but he didn't even get on the field. So, I mean, literally, the fact that Miners is available is borderline unrealistic to me. I think he's a 2nd round player.
Really?
So him falling here, I get that he's a super small school player. He went to the Senior Bowl and was the best offensive lineman at the Senior Bowl when Creed Humphrey was there. So if he's actually legitimately available, if we're passing on him here, it's because we're saying it's probably not realistic that he's actually here.
All right, you know what? That's a good enough argument for me. I am kicking, screaming a little bit, but I'm gonna let it slide here. We'll take Quinn Meinerz and just have the Dallas Cowboys offensive line of a couple of years ago. Why not? That worked for them, kind of.
Not even that. I mean, come on, that was 1st round elite players.
That's true.
We're just spending a 4th round pick on something.
But at the same time, and we've made this point a couple times, this is actually, when you talk about the 3rd round and the 4th round, this is, if you're trying to get a starter, interior offensive line is your best shot. This is the sweet spot in the draft, year in and year out, 3rd and 4th round for a guard. You can get a starting level quality guy here. So, let's do it. Pick is in. There we go. We're doubling up on offensive line. Chat, not a huge fan, but you know what? You guys are going to have your shot in a minute here, because we're going to
suck it, chat room.
Suck it, chat.
You get your shot later. I'm going with the guy who's chopping wood up in northern Wisconsin.
All right, we got to wait a little bit here, because we're going to have a pick at the beginning. And who do we trade with? Arizona. So beginning and middle of the 5th round, and then we're going to be done. Then it'll be Chat's turn. There we go, 153, and
there are some receivers coming off the board, my friends.
There are. Anthony Schwartz, a very popular pick among Lions fans because he's incredibly fast, but he's not there. Where is our next pick? I thought we had one more in the 5th. Maybe it's late 5th. There's an Arizona pick there. Whatever. All right, let's go here. As a reminder, here's a guy who we've picked so far. At this point, I think in general, even if you aren't the Lions rebuilding, you're just kind of picking best player available. You're not worrying too much about positional needs because 5th round, not going to fill a starting role essentially. Chris Evans is an interesting name, Michigan guy, another running back. Now we're at the point in the draft where I don't care if we take a running back because although I tend to want to go more speedy guys that might be able to contribute on special teams, I don't know if Chris Evans is necessarily that guy. Any names popping out to you guys or positions you want to look at?
What's the word on Cade Johnson? Is he still hanging around? No, it's another receiver.
There he is. He is still around.
Yeah, so
I feel like,
go ahead.
I just feel like, I doubling down a receiver seems wild, but I really don't. If you missed out on Jalen Waddle, you missed out on Jamar Chase. It's almost as if you got to have a couple guys to make up for the production that maybe one of those guys would have had. And plus, the Lions are going to need somebody to return kicks and punts. And at this point, we really don't even know who that is.
So just slide up a little bit because Austin Watkins from UAB is still on the board too, and that is a guy that I would take him above Cade Johnson. I think they're both talented players. I think Watkins has maybe a little bit more upside just because of his size. I don't know what the RAS scores on those two guys were, but I was a bigger fan. The two that really jumped out for me that are still on the board are him and Dalen Hayes. Dalen Hayes is another edge player. I don't think we've gone edge yet. Those would be the two. And just in terms of players that I think could actually end up having sort of some real impact on the roster, not just in year one, but down the road. Both developmental players, but if we're going receiver, I would go Watkins over Johnson. I don't mind Johnson, but I think Dalen Hayes at least merits some conversation.
Yeah, Watkins, it appears didn't run, or at least I don't have his numbers handy. Let me look at Cade Johnson's number really quick. Johnson. He ran a 4.51, not super fast. Do I have his RAS right here? I don't think I do. And then so we have not gone edge yet. The secondary is still standing there completely unaddressed, but again, I think you're talking 5th round here. You're not really probably getting a guy that can start or even if we're talking starting potential down the line, it would still be a year or two out from that, I would imagine.
Can you look at cornerbacks quick?
Yeah, let's take a quick look. Brian Mills, Shaun Wade. So we've talked about Shaun Wade a lot because he's kind of an interesting case. His first year in Ohio State, played nickel, played really well. They moved him to outside, and he was awful. Really, really bad. So people are projecting him either to go back to nickel or just play straight safety. Lions do need a safety, and playing at a big school means at least he has the experience of being against good competition. Granted, again, it wasn't great experience. He didn't play particularly well, but I think he's a guy that maybe you consider at this point.
So one player that I wouldn't say I'm surprised he's off the board, but in this range, either with the last couple of picks or this pick, if Ambry Thomas is still available, that's a player that I could see Lions, and that's not just me being a Michigan homer. That is a player who legitimately showed out at the Senior Bowl. I think he's going to be a better pro than he was a college player. Super good on the line in press. I honestly just think the value is not there in this cornerback class. Safeties, I don't mind. I like Paris Ford. Derek Forrest is a bigger guy. Wouldn't mind him. Eric Burrell, I think, is going to end up getting drafted. Maybe target him in a couple of picks. But I think you got to go defensive backfield at some point. But I'm not sure if it's right now.
Yeah. I think Shaun Wade right now is the guy that I'm circling just because I think there's so much high upside there. Probably low floor though too. That's the trick. That's the trouble there. But again, 5th round, you got to take some shots here at some point. There's certainly no perfect prospect on the board left. So that's who maybe the guy I'd be pounding the table for. And any other guys that we want to discuss here?
Well, so we're done trading, right?
Yep.
All right.
We got our one trade in there.
This would be a good chance to maybe trade down and acquire some more picks. But yeah, there's just nobody in that defensive backfield group that makes me excited or happy or anything. I just feel like you still got to shore up so much on that skill player side on the offensive. I think Austin Watkins or Cade Johnson is what I'm thinking, but I kind of want. I don't know.
All right,
I'll defer to you guys on this one.
I'll leave it up to Shotty. He's our guest. He gets to be the tiebreaker here.
I mean, I think Watkins is the best player available. I wouldn't mind Shaun Wade, especially I can see the conversion to safety, but I don't know if I like him as much as Watkins.
Okay.
I'm going to go Watkins here.
All right.
It just goes to that. Do you take a player? Do you reach a little bit just to shore up a really huge need? Or you just say, we're going to suck this year anyway.
Yeah.
Let's grab another development wide receiver, and one of these guys is going to be our guy moving forward.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't mind that logic. So there we go. Austin Watkins, our first 5th round pick. And was it a 5th or a 6th? We picked up a 6th, I think. That's why I don't see him. So we got a 6th round coming, and then we'll hand the reins over to chat here to clean things up, see how they do.
Hi, my name is Mike Payton, and I think we need a kicker.
No.
We gotta have a kicker.
Absolutely not. I don't even know if there's kickers available in this thing.
All right, so we're just going to trust Randy Bullock to... Okay.
Yeah, I mean...
Let Randy do it.
They signed him for a reason, right? He must be okay. He's started for the past, 5-6 years? Can't kick anything over 55 yards, but I'm team go for it anyways if you're that far out.
We're going to become the Chicago Bears is essentially what's going to happen here.
There we go. There's our pick.
Playoff team, my friend. There are worse things to be at this point.
True.
You're losing a playoff game because you're a kicker. That's a rarefied air for Lions fans right now.
What is this math bomb tweet? What do you want us to see for this math bomb? Chris Evans. A little faster than I thought it was. It was. All right. I think that's the point you were trying to prove. Hey, we got a trade offer. Too bad. All right. Last pick. A bunch of wide receivers at the top of the Draft Network's board here. We still have not addressed the secondary, so maybe we want to consider that. Not that it even matters at this point, because a 6th round pick is so unlikely to really ever become a starting contributor. But maybe we find
Tom Brady.
Maybe we find our Quandre
Just
Diggs.
find Tom Brady, Reisman.
Okay,
let's go.
Is he in there? Find Tom Brady. He must be in there.
No, Tom Brady's not there.
Bryce
Sorry.
Thompson, right?
Just because he's got Tom in there.
Oh, I'm just saying, you might as well take Bryce Thompson. What about where are we at on David Moore? How do we feel about David Moore from Central Michigan?
Where do you see him? Where's David Moore?
He's a
He's a quarterback.
We want to fire up chips with a quarterback in the 6th round.
He's not even there.
Not even there. He might have gotten drafted already. He's probably a 5th, 6th round pick.
You want me to find where he went? Again, I'm still completely against drafting a quarterback.
Felipe Franks is off the board.
There he is. Kansas City got him.
That would be a great pick. So again, I'm gonna Shaun Wade went 177. If we go best player available, Taron Jackson from Coastal Carolina, I think is a good potential player. He's listed at edge. He actually played defensive tackle at the Senior Bowl, which was insane because he's not that size at all.
Yeah, 260.
But he's got some versatility. So, wait, is Shaka Toney still on the board too?
He is.
So you've got, again, I get what you're saying. We've not addressed the defensive backfield. I mean, we're talking about digging the very dregs of the free agency barrel at this point, or just converting some of our crappy wide receivers over to the defensive backfield at this point. But I think the potential, maybe Zach McPherson, I don't love. There are so many players on this board that I still enjoy watching.
Right.
In terms of guys that I saw at Senior Bowl, guys I saw at CGS, guys that I've enjoyed watching through the draft process. None of them, I think, are. What's just look at cornerbacks and defensive backs though. We're looking at best player.
Sure. Tay Gowan is a guy I know that some people like. UCF. I don't know though. It's rough out there. Tay Gowan, I think there's one. I'm trying to one of the draft. Nah, I'm trying to remember who it was. Someone has him like crazy high compared to everyone else. Let me see if I can find. I think it's PFF. It is PFF has him 69 overall.
Nice.
Yes. Let me pull up the draft or the PFF guide and see what they have to say about him, because I knew he was just like way higher than everyone else. And why can't I find his profile? There we go. I'm going to show everyone so that you can see what they think about him. 81 coverage grade. See, they projected him in the 3rd round. Small school corner. I don't know though. I mean, why are they the only ones that are super high on him? Everyone else has him like day 3, maybe even undrafted guy. Dane Brugler has him pretty high too. I think he's a guy that maybe you take a shot on. Yeah?
I'm sold.
Didn't he opt out? Maybe. He did. Yep. You can see his stats here. So you're taking a flyer on a guy from a small school who only played 1 season. So it's definitely a huge risk here. But again, we're talking 6th round at this point. I don't know if you're going to get.
But recent national champ, my friend.
That's true. Good point. Yeah. You cool with me taking the reins here and just taking one of my sleeper guys?
Was he your sleeper guy before like 6 minutes ago, though?
Well, no, I knew he was high on at least one board. The fact that he's on Brugler's board, which I didn't realize, that makes me even more confident in that.
I feel like we're missing out on a real name bracket winner with Shaka Tony, but
true.
Let's take Tay.
I mean,
let's go with Tay.
Shamar Jean Charles, Rashad Wild Goose Jr. There are a lot of good name bracket guys at this point.
That is not a real player. I disagree. That is just someone that Draft Network threw in there to screw with us.
I mean, I don't even know if I want to try this guy's name, but that's a lot of letters that I don't normally see together, so that's pretty impressive too. No, but I'll let's go with Tay Gowan, see what happens, and that's our draft, guys.
I hate it.
Let me screenshot it here.
So we're realistic. This is a realistic draft.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, this is
if
a
the fans hate it, if the chat's going wild,
and
Mike doesn't like it. I think there's value. I honestly think this draft has a ton of value. When I'm seeing the wide receivers who were still left on the board with that last pick, I was kind of like, maybe we didn't necessarily need to go Watkins. I'm still sad that there's no edge on this at all. I get what you're saying, that there's a lot of development players on the Lions roster already at edge, but we just have had such issues rushing the passer in recent years that I think you gotta. But maybe interior defensive line helps that. Hopefully.
So there's a look at our board. We also have a 2022 4th, so let's not forget about that. I have that on our little snipping tool, so we will go back to that after we are done with your guys' mock draft. So let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. Remember, the rules for your mock draft, chat, is that you cannot trade out of 7, but you have 1 trade the rest of the way. Got it? So don't come yelling at me about how we didn't trade the first round pick. You aren't allowed to. That's
trade up, losers. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Oh, I didn't mean to hit the trade button. I meant to hit the start button. There we go. You guys want to trade up to 1? We can trade up to 1. All right, so if Zach Wilson doesn't go here at 4, we are going to restart this because for whatever reason, the Draft Network really hates Zach Wilson, apparently.
Anti-Mormon bias.
All right, we're going to have to restart it. This is the exact same. Is this the exact same thing that was there last?
Yeah, except Trey Lance is in Wilson.
Yeah, Trey Lance didn't last that long.
All right.
Or Trey Lance lasted longer.
I don't know what happened recently with the Draft Network, but that literally never happened in the 3 or 4 weeks we've done this. Oops, keep hitting the trade button. All right, let's start this over.
Victory.
Oh my!
Oh, and there's
Oh my God,
Jones.
Mac Jones.
He doesn't last till the third.
Oh God, man. Just
Okay.
cannot win on Jalen Waddle.
We'll stick with. I don't think this is completely unrealistic here. I think this has the potential of actually happening. So let type in chat who you want at this point, and then we're gonna put, let's say, the four most popular choices in a poll, and you guys will draft whoever is there. So I see some Fields, some Sewell. We're not doing
Let's all 100% agree that this would be a trade down. The Lions would.
Right.
Your God
absolutely.
playing rules here, Jeremy. This would be a trade down.
Yep. So Fields and Sewell are by far the most popular choices here. I see a Slater as well. We're not trading.
Quarterback guys.
Not allowed to trade. All right. I think at this point I just have to do Fields, Sewell, and Slater. I don't see anyone else. All right. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to have to jump over to Twitch to vote in this poll. All right, 7, Sewell. Who else? Fields and Slater. Those are your three options. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to vote. Boom. Poll is up. Go ahead.
I don't see how Fields would get past Atlanta. I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterback. Boom, 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 boom. Pitts to Bengals makes sense. Pitts to the Dolphins and the Jalen Waddle to the Lions.
But
that's how I think it's going to go.
If you're so against the Lions drafting a quarterback, why are you so for the Falcons drafting a quarterback when I think it's kind of a similar scenario? I know Goff is younger than
because that scenario means that I'm right.
All right, fair. We are currently tied.
What are we doing here?
Sewell has a slight lead over Justin Fields. It's very close, though. It should be at the top of your chat, Twitch. Maybe refresh really quick. Hey, our good friend Bearded Blevins just subscribed for a full year. He says, oh, look, a year of being subbed to the future Super Bowl covering Lions paper. Did I not add Lance? Whoops. Well, I didn't see a lot of people saying Lance, so. Sewell wins. And I feel like Lance would have honestly split the vote between quarterbacks probably. I'm fine with what we did there. Penei Sewell. So currently our drafts are exactly the same. Congratulations. Your pick is in. I got to do the chime noise. There it is. Penei Sewell, the pick at 7. There you go. All right, chat. We'll see if any trades come in here and see if you like any of the trades. But
if the Broncos end up with Justin Fields without trading up, that is a
huge win for them.
Amount of legal weed that is going to be smoked that night.
Trey Lance goes to the Patriots.
Unsurpassed.
Oh my goodness! There goes Kadarius Toney in the
to
first.
The Packers. That's rough for the Lions' defensive backfield that doesn't exist.
All right. Your first trade offer is in chat. You only get 2, so you aren't as rich with options as we are. But drop back 12 spots and get a 4th. That's pretty enticing. Get another day 2 it's day 2 pick. Or the Rams. You want to talk with Brad Holmes and his buddy. Okay, so you get even more here. You drop back 16 spots. You get a 4th and a 7th.
Fleece the Rams again.
Fleece the Rams again. All right, I will put a poll up for either the Titans offer, the Rams offer, or no trade. Again, I will give you guys 1 minute to vote.
I'll say, can you counter the Titans offer and get a higher pick thrown?
Yeah, I mean, I'll fight for you, chat, for a little bit. We're not going to give you a ton more, but I'll fight for you a little bit. Maybe add a little more value there. But for now, vote if you want to trade with the Titans, the Rams, or no trade and keep your pick. Poll is up. Let's see the results here. Right now, no trade is leading, with others saying the Titans. If you want to look at the board, I can pull that up. There's the board. Scroll down a little bit. Rousseau's still down there. Interesting.
Rondell Moore.
Mm-hmm.
If we were having Eskridge and Cade Johnson talks, Rondell Moore's probably the guy.
Chet saying Terrace Marshall as well. They like him. Looks like no trade is going to win. Interesting. I wonder if you guys are going to trade at all now. Feels like that was your best opportunity. No trade is official, so now I need to see who you guys want with this second round pick. As a reminder, you guys picked Penei Sewell with your first round pick. Let me know if you want to look at specific positions or if you like these guys. Barmore, Fields, Marshall. Is Fields still on the board?
No. Fields went to
No.
Denver at 12.
Marshall. A lot of Marshalls. Kellen Mond. Are you guys just trying to throw? You guys, this happens every time. Chet gets frustrated with themselves, and then they just try to throw the rest of the draft. I'm not going to let it happen. I'm seeing Marshall and Moore. Is there anyone else that you guys want to see? Okay, Marshall and Moore. We're just going to keep it at those.
This is probably real life too. This is probably the last time you're going to get an impact edge player. Because you're looking at Levi from Washington, you're looking at Peyton Turner from Houston. You're done after that. So if you are like me and you do want to see some sort of impact pass rusher, you're not getting it after this point.
I'll throw a Kelvin Joseph in there. I saw someone in there. Anything else? Samuel? Is that an Asante Samuel? Is he on the board?
Ooh.
He is.
Ooh.
I'll
And Aaron
throw him
Robinson.
Oh, I totally forgot. It was Asante Samuel Jr. I was thinking, guys, what are you talking about?
All right. I'll put those four up for a poll. Let's see what y'all want. Terrace Marshall, Rondale Moore, Kelvin Joseph, Asante Samuel. So either one of those wide receivers or a couple corners. We've already gone wide receiver. Or we've already often. Terrace Marshall out to a big early lead. Asante creeping up, though. Got about halfway done with the votes. 30 seconds left. Show the player ranks. There you go. Oh, wait, that's only at corner. Whoops. Sorry.
That was a very Canadian sorry.
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 It comes out every once in a while, even though I am not Canadian and don't have any Canadian relatives. Set it to player rankings and keep it there? All right, fine. Terrace Marshall wins by a landslide. There you go. You guys went offense twice as well. Or did we end up not doing that? I don't even remember.
We went Barmore second.
That's right. All right, there you go. You got an offensive tackle. You got a wide receiver. Top 10 offense. 100% for 2021. All right, let's see the board go.
Speaking of lots of weed being smoked.
All right, you guys got a call here. Do you guys want to trade up and spend a 5th round pick so that you have a 2nd round? If there are enough no's in here, I won't even put this to a poll. I imagine the answer is no. I see a fuck no and a no trades up. So, yeah, that's enough no's. I feel like the only yeses I'm seeing are from people that are trying to sabotage. So we're going to say no to that trade offer. I see you, Joshua Mercer. I know what you're doing. Oh, those Detroit guys wanted to move up. Sorry,
I miss
fellas.
those guys, man.
All right, we have a trade down offer now. We're at 72. The Eagles are calling from 84. They want someone. They'll give us their 6th round pick. If you want, chat, I will show you what the board looks like. Who's available? So we got Richie Grant. If you want to go secondary, If you want to go, I mean, you probably want to go defense at this point. I can look at linebackers as well. Pete Werner, Chaz Surratt. If you want to copy us, Dylan Moses. If you want to go with a guy that Mike wanted, Tyson Campbell, Ambry Thomas.
I absolutely love two of those cornerbacks. Ben St. Juste is one of my favorite players in the draft. Aaron Robinson, Ambry Thomas. I love the value of cornerback, but you can probably trade down and get one of those guys.
True. All right, so let me do a quick no or yes on the poll. Now that you've seen some of the guys available, trade down? Question mark? Yes. No. You got 1 minute again, chat.
And I would say what I said about edges last time around. This is probably your last chance at a cornerback. We let this pick go by without taking a cornerback, and all those guys, Campbell, Thomas, St. Juste, were all off the board by the time our next pick got around.
All right, let's see how the poll is doing. By the way, thank you, Abe Caldwell, over on YouTube for the subscription. Wow, we are neck and neck. It is 14-16, currently saying no trade down. It's very close. You got about 20 seconds left, y'all. A lot of people in chat just want to grab Grant here. Ooh, and the no's are starting to pull away. This might be a full no trade down draft. Interesting.
Trading down is never as great as you think it's going to be.
Incorrect. Trading down is the only way to run a draft. As many picks as possible, because everyone is always wrong. No trade down, which means Grant or Robinson is what I'm seeing from a lot of people. Anyone else that you guys are interested in here? Pete Werner. Let me go back to the overall rankings here. Richie Grant, Pete Werner. Who was the other one I just said? We missed our chance to trade down.
I don't know if I like Grant that much more than Cisco from Syracuse.
Yeah,
honestly. And I like Grant, but that's a couple of, again, I said it about cornerback, safeties the same way. If you really want someone in the defensive backfield, this is your pick. Or trade down and do the same thing, but since the trade down didn't happen.
Interesting note here too from the Draft Network. Andre Cisco says the scheme fit is either single high and split zone safety. Guess what the Lions say they're going to do? Split zone. Just food for thought there, chat. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. I feel like no matter what I put, Grant is going to win here based on what I'm seeing here. But we'll do Richie Grant. We'll do Pete Werner. We'll do Janarius Robinson. Or should I just? I mean, Richie Grant's going to win. I can already tell, but what pick are we on? 72. Richie Grant, Pete Werner, Janarius Robinson. If I spelled that wrong, deal with it. There we go. Poll is up. Let's see what y'all pick. Of course, Richie Grant out to a quick lead. 7 votes, 12 votes, and only one other vote for Pete Werner. Oh, now you guys were too slow on Nixon. I'm sorry. Let's be honest. Richie Grant was going to win this anyways. I don't think I really need to see the rest of this. Unless there is...
This feels like a sprinting to the podium by the chat.
Yes, it does. That's absolutely what this is. And I'm not even going to wait till the end. Y'all have picked Richie Grant with your first third-round pick. There you go. Was that? I think that was cheers from the crowd there. There goes Pete Werner a couple picks later, and then Cisco a couple picks after that. Okay, another trade offer. Again, trading up in this case. You'd be giving a 5th, getting back a 6th, and sending a 2022 6. Based on the reaction, I'm going to say no to all trade ups at this point. If you guys want to trade down at 101, we'll talk about it there.
Every time that phone rings, I think I'm watching Deal or No Deal.
I actually thought it was one of your legit phones at one point. I didn't make the connection right off the bat.
There goes Ambry Thomas. Lions are on the board. Aleem McNeil is a guy we've talked about a lot. He's a pure nose, right? That's the guy I'm thinking of. I believe he is.
Nixon's a pure nose too. When we talked about him a minute ago.
Whoops.
McNeil is probably the best player available right now, but there's a lot of players I like still.
Yep. Did we even get a trade offer? Did I just I don't think we got a trade offer that time. Sorry guys, no trade here. So let's see what you guys want. I'll look at some. What haven't we tackled yet? Maybe a linebacker, Dylan Moses. Monty Rice is way down there.
I would say I actually like, if I have the choice between the two players, I'm actually a bigger Monty Rice fan than Dylan Moses fan.
Interesting. There's your linebackers chat. Check wide receivers. Okay. You want to double up at wide receiver? Not sure I like that group of guys.
So Jalen Darden isn't a bad player. Let's I feel like a lot of cornerbacks just went off the board.
Yeah. Let's look at who just recently went. Aaron Robinson, Ambry Thomas, St. Just.
And St. Just.
Yep. What are we saying here? What's your take on Barnes from Purdue? Wait, weird.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him to really chat. I like Divine Diablo, but we already took a safety. It's a very different safety than what we took, but
Derek Barnes is your guy. Let's find him. Whoops, I don't mean to be on Barnes. Let's see what rush linebacker, so people like that. Single gap defense. That means he's a fit. What's he? He's a little on the bigger side, 245. Let me look at what his numbers were. Is he considered more of an edge? Where is he? There he is. Nah, he's a Mike. All right, I need some. So Joseph or McNeil, Wade, Joseph. A lot of Kelvin Josephs. Is Sean Wade is still there? So, all right. So we got Kelvin Joseph, Barnes, Wade, McNeil. All right. I need to write these down or something because I always forget. Of course, another Kellen Mond. Draft Zazu. We are not drafting my dog. Not happening. All right. We are at 101. Sean Wade. See, this is my short-term memory is god awful. Who else were we talking about? Kelvin Joseph. Keep putting names in the chat because I'm stupid. I'm not putting Mond on here. I'm not doing it. McNeil. What's his full name?
Are we only on cornerbacks?
At the moment, we are.
Gotcha.
Ali McNeil. That's right. We were just talking about him. Aleem McNeil. Anyone else you want up there, chat? I have Wade. We can't draft Calvin Johnson. That's not allowed.
I'm not standing for him here by any means, but honestly, if we're talking a quarterback, I would rather have Davis Mills than Kellen Mond. I'm legit serious. I think Davis Mills is the player that I've continually said, if this was like a decade ago, he'd be a top 3 pick. But he's not mobile. He's not. And so, like, yeah, maybe it's one of those where the entire league's going one way, so you go the other. I can't see him. I have never liked Mond's tape. You're taking a pure developmental guy. Davis Mills is a guy who doesn't have a ton of tape because he didn't play a ton. So that's my quarterback rant for the evening.
Speaking of quarterback, around NFL Network was just discussing Matthew Stafford's chances of becoming the league MVP. Funny how that happens now that he's not in Detroit.
100%. All right, so the 5 I have on the list are Sean Wade, Kelvin Joseph, Aleem McNeil, Jay Tufele, and Dylan Moses. I feel like that covers everyone that I've seen. So we're gonna do that poll right now. Good luck, chat. This is your second, third round pick. Maybe the last potential starter you can get in this draft since you decided not to trade down.
Yeah, all of you should be really regretting the whole not trade down thing.
Absolutely.
At this point.
You blew it.
Fail.
Can we all agree that theirs is just already way worse than ours?
Oh, 100%.
Like, we're just dunking all over chat.
Where did we get Minerts? What pick did we get Minerts?
I think it was 101. I think it was here.
Yeah, way late.
Because I think I just saw the Browns draft him at like 91. So I just like the value of ours. I don't know if our draft ends up having a huge impact, but I like the value. You're taking swings at value players. That's what this regime needs to do to start off.
Yeah, I agree.
I do like having Richie Grant though. That makes me feel good about life.
Right. It's interesting. The way this has worked pretty much every time is chat hates our draft. They think it's horrible. And then we give them the reins and they're like, this is even worse. Why? Like, it's not easy, chat. I mean, when you do it by yourself with, PFFs and they allow you to draft like second round talent in the fifth round. Yeah, it's pretty easy. But it gets more difficult when we try to keep it realistic.
This is parenting in a nutshell. Really what it is.
All right,
Dad, I hate everything about what you've done.
Y'all have
Please
chosen.
come back and do it for me again.
Kelvin Joseph is your pick at 101. Congratulations. Back-to-back defensive back picks. Secondary is looking a lot better. They've chosen the exact opposite of our strategy, which was, oops, we forgot about secondary. Let's get front seven guys. And they have instead gone the other direction. Okay, we're back on the clock here, chat. This might be your last opportunity to trade. If you want to drop back 21 spots, the Saints are offering a seventh. If you want, I can do a counter offer and try to bump that up to maybe a sixth. Or we can just call it a day and just finalize this. And seen a lot of no's. Nah, no. Ask for a sixth. Counter for a sixth. Six. All right. Here. You want to see? All right. Let's see the board really quick. Then I will ask you guys if you want me to counter for a sixth or just draft somebody. All right. Tufele is still there. Kellen Mond is still there. Who else are you guys looking at? What positions are we looking at here? So maybe linebacker. Derek Barnes still there. Monty Rice is still there. If you want to go defensive line, there's your edge guys. Not in love with any of those guys, to be honest.
Ellerson Smith and Dalen Hayes are a couple of my favorites. It's a little early for either of those guys, but I don't think too much.
There's your interior guys. What other positions are we looking at? Maybe interior offensive line. Or if you want to go back at wide receiver, everyone loves doubling up on wide receivers in this thing. Those are your options there. Speedy Anthony Schwartz still up there. All right, let me look at chat. What do you guys think?
I love Darton. I love, I'm not even going to try. Josh from Illinois. That's a nice one, too.
Josh from Illinois.
All right, I'm going to run a quick poll, see if you guys want to trade. Do you remember what team it was? I've already forgotten, which is probably an issue, but...
It was Saints.
Saints? Chat's all over it, too. Good job, chat. All right. Your options are yes, let's try to get a sixth, or no. 50-50 split right now. 8 votes to 8 votes. Tufele, a lot of people want right now. Seth Williams, a wide receiver. Jalen Darden. We might get a trade here, guys. Currently,
let's do it. Fortune favors the bold.
Let's do it. Remember, we're trading back 21 spots? So it's a significant trade back. I'll see if I can get a sixth for you guys. Maybe even something more. No Nico Collins. He is not available.
He was off in the second.
All right, you guys want a trade. Let's see if we can get the Saints back on the phone here.
If we do get a 7th, I am pounding the table for Zach Davidson, tight end / punter out of Central Missouri, as literally my favorite human being in the draft class. Just saying. Oh, that's very likely.
You know what? I'll do you guys a favor. Oh, never mind. They went from very likely to absolutely not.
Throw the other 7th. Try it.
I don't know why these 7ths are so valuable to them, but apparently not.
Try 2000.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, we'll give you guys an extra 7th in 2021 or 2022. I mean, all right. So you guys are dropping back 21 spots, picking up a 6th and a 2022 7th. All right, let's see if they accept the offer.
Quarterback next year, 7th round.
Oh wow. Okay, they denied it.
They really want to keep them 7th round picks.
Yeah, sorry guys. I'm gonna have to take away that future pick.
Means you guys won't have a chance to pick a kicker.
There you go. Got your 6th that you were asking for, but we're gonna have to wait a little bit here. Let's see the picks go by here.
Mills.
Davis Mills can beat Carr. He can absolutely beat Carr in a quarterback battle.
Did they just make the pick for us?
What just happened?
Picked for us.
What the hell? Well,
congratulations, chat. You got Jonathan Cooper.
That has never happened. Well, here. Let's pause it. Let's pretend that these guys are all still on the board, and we'll run a poll, and we'll cross out the name of whoever they just decided to pick for us. That was strange. All right, so pretend all 4 of these guys are still on the board, plus all of these guys, and we'll make our own pick. That was strange. Throw in the chat who you guys want. Derek Barnes, I will allow to still be on the board if you want Derek Barnes.
Anthony Schwartz is still available. Ellerson Smith, I think, is a better player than Cooper. I kind of want to just watch Deontay Brown. I don't necessarily want him to play for the Lions, but if I can just have a camera of him on Sundays on the broadcast, I'm fine with that.
Seth Williams, Barnes, Rice, Schwartz.
Well, if these guys are going to be the good cop, I'll be the bad cop. You're going to take Jonathan Cooper, and you're going to like it.
Monty Rice is still out there. Schwartz, Barnes, Cooper. All right, so I'm seeing
our Chris Evans superfan from the chat that was pumping for us to take him before.
Where are we at? 133. Anthony Schwartz, Derek Barnes. Who else are we rooting for in chat here? Can't draft Chase Young, that's for sure. That's not allowed.
Chris Evans in there and see what happens.
The actor?
Yeah, why not? It's Captain America.
All right, I'll throw Chris Evans on there.
He's on the moon.
Oh, Rice. What was Rice's first name? I'm so bad at this. Monty Rice, of course, the linebacker. Why do I always forget him? Monty Rice. Anyone else? Chat. Who am I missing? Who am I missing? Who am I missing? Can we get Chris Pratt?
Isn't he the worst Chris? I thought we all decided that a while back.
What?
Yeah, Evans is the good Chris.
No. I don't agree with that. Seth Williams,
Chris.
Sean Wade. Hey, who subscribed? Constrictor, thank you for the 10 months. Captain America. Sean Wade, Seth Williams. Which one? All right, I have spot for one more. Sean Wade or Seth Williams, chat. Who takes that last spot? Oh, I should probably check and see if Sean Wade is available. Yeah, he's.
So I'll just throw this out there. There was an agent, and it wasn't his agent. But when I was sitting at the Senior Bowl, I had an agent look over at me. We were watching Ramondre Stevenson work out, and he said, and this is a guy that I trust. He's like, I think Ramondre Stevenson can be the best back in this draft class. He's like, I don't think he's a better prospect than Najee, but I think he'd be a better NFL player than Najee. I looked at him like he was insane, but I'm just throwing it out there. Like, there is at least one guy who knows what he's talking about, knows how to evaluate NFL talent, who likes Stevenson. Throw that out there.
Interesting to know. All right, polls up. You all said you wanted Shaun Wade in there. Shaun Wade is in there. No consensus yet. Derek Barnes currently with the lead, only with 3 votes. Everyone else has 2 or less. Now Shaun Wade is tied. Oh, now Shaun Wade pulling away here.
No love for Anthony Schwartz.
No. Although, yeah, he's got
there is a lot of wide receiver talent still on the board.
True.
And there's another Lions pick coming up. So
true.
And remember, we're not actually making the selection. It's already made it. Walker Little falling that far surprises me too. He's not on the board anymore. He went a couple picks before us, but that's a surprising one.
Shaun Wade pulling away here. Less than 2 seconds left. Shaun Wade wins. All right. Good thing we added him,
big
chat.
Ohio State contingent in your.
I don't know. I hope not. Oh my! Wait, why can't I draft him?
Because we already drafted.
Oh, right. That's right. Yes. So okay.
Literally the thing I reminded you of like moments ago.
Thank you. All right. I'm just gonna write Shaun Wade down, and we're gonna make sure that's taken care of. All right. You guys almost pretended to pick Shaun Wade there. Good job. Maybe we can draft him again too when at pick 153.
I like Trey McKitty. That is a good prospect.
Not a great tight end class though. All right, you guys are on the clock and
Shaun Wade.
Shaun Wade again. He's still there.
We need 2 of them. One to play cornerback, one to play safety.
All right. You want to see edge? Sure. Here's your edge. Ellerson Smith, Dalen Hayes, Joshua Kando, Malcolm Kuntz, Cameron Sample. Here's a look at Darius Washington is up there.
Get Shaka Tony.
Here's a look.
I was just enjoying saying Shaka. I would rather have Dalen Hayes. There's some good edge talent.
By the way, I don't know if Chad even realized this. They went defensive back 3 in a row. Richie Grant, Kelvin Joseph, and that guy is actually Shaun Wade. So going healthy secondary, and maybe that's something that happens. You know, they have a very secondary heavy coaching staff, but a lot of young talent like Mike was saying.
I'm not sure any of those players start in year 1. I'm not 100% sure more than one of those players starts in year 2. And that's maybe that's just because I don't love those players as much. That's where I struggle with the defensive backfield, especially if you're not drafting someone in the first or second round. It's really, I think, captured at that point that those guys are going to have an impact.
Right. I agree. Jeremy Chad always does it. They kind of do always do that. Secondary is a strength, a new identity. Is Schwartz still there? Schwartz is not on the board any longer. Here's your wide receivers.
Not Frank Darby.
Frank Darby. You want to see linebackers?
Powell's probably the player I like best on the board at receiver.
Cornell Powell out of Clemson. Here's a look at your linebackers. I have a feeling Monty Rice is going to make this poll. Wade was a mistake. Maybe. Monty Rice, I see in the chat.
KJ Britt's a fine player, linebacker.
Still like Cade Johnson. I'm going to pound the table for Cade Johnson. Put him on the poll, Jeremy.
Create a fake chat account and hop in.
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
will.
It doesn't even have to be a fake. It can be your account. You can vote.
I don't know how to get to chat.
Let's get more secondary. Fuck it. Chat. See, this is what I'm talking about. They're starting to throw. They've realized they've messed up, and now they're just going all in. Rice and Hayes.
Ellerson Smith is a very good prospect. I've said it a couple of times. Like, pull up his TDN profile, and I don't know what they think about him.
Oops, that's wrong.
That's Caden Stearns.
There we go. Sub-package edge player, 3-4 fit, good athleticism, excellent length. Doesn't have the frame or strength to hold up in NFL trenches, which is why he's best suited as an edge. They don't seem to be too high on him.
It's probably a little Julian Okwara redux, but
yeah.
I still think he's going to be an impact NFL player. Dalen Hayes is as well. Dalen Hayes is right there. Those are a couple players that I just enjoy watching.
All right, I'm seeing Cade Johnson, Powell, Hayes, Rice.
Everyone had love for Chris Evans when we were drafting. No one wants to pull that trigger when they're at the helm.
All right. So let's do Ellerson Smith. I see a bunch of those. So where are we at? 153. Ellerson Smith, Cade Johnson. What else? What are we missing here? Darby. We'll put Frank Darby on there as well.
Frankie Darby.
What am I missing, chat? Who else needs to be on there? Show me potato salad.
Frank Darby,
Who's throwing Frank?
1,000% sounds like a 40s baseball player.
Here's
Not like a current NFL player.
someone trying to make a case for Ellerson Smith just send us his RAS, which is 9.87.
That's okay.
That's decent.
Home run, Frank Darby.
Do I have Dalen Hayes on my list already? I don't. I'll put Dalen Hayes on there as well. And I think we'll leave it at that. Ellerson Smith, Cade Johnson, Frank Darby, Dalen Hayes. Not Hales. There we go. 1 minute chat.
For Cade. Come on, chat. Give me Cade Johnson.
Let's see. Ellerson Smith is a beast, says Steve-O on YouTube. We have basically zero promises in our secondary right now. That's fair. I mean, that's a fair point, Michael. I do think the coaching staff is high, at least on Okuda, and I think they're high on at least
Poirier.
I don't know about O'Rourke. I mean, they've said maybe it's just my own. I'm not that high on O'Rourke. I think they're probably higher on O'Rourke than I am.
I'm not. I don't think Tracy Walker is a total waste anymore. I mean, like, he had a bad season.
Yeah,
I think he can rebound from that.
I hope he can, because I think he's a smart guy. I think he's in terms of hard worker, good locker room presence. I think he's got all those things. He just needs to.
I do think at this point you now have too many young projection players on the roster.
Yeah,
you're drafting 3 defensive backs in this draft. Even if you're drafting 2, you probably want a lower tier veteran signing just to be a steadying force
right
back there. Not that that's worked for the Lions recently, but just so
Corn,
many young
Corn
players.
Elder's a good addition. I think he fits that role that you're talking about, Michael.
He also. I mean, he's older, but he also has limited experience. Like, he's really only had 1 year as a quasi starter. All right, Ellerson Smith is the pick. I don't know if I've done the draft chime in a while. There it is. You get an edge because this guy is not actually this guy. That's actually Sean Wade. Ellerson Smith is your pick.
I feel like I really pushed that one to happen. I'm proud of you guys for listening to me. I'm a little worried that if that one doesn't pan out, you're all going to hate me. But good work. Good work, team.
And
I'm disappointed in all of you.
If I'm not mistaken, you guys have a 6th round pick, and then we're done here. I couldn't get you that extra pick in 2022, so we're going to lord that extra 4th that we've got over you. But we've got
Let's
one
start
more
talking about tight ends who can also be punters. That's all I'm throwing at you guys.
They got the punt god already in Jack Fox.
It's true.
You might as well have a backup.
Can any of these tight ends kick? Because we could sure use a kicker. Literally pounding the table right now.
You are obsessed with a kicker. Absolutely not. And
I trust Randy.
I literally don't know if there's any kickers on this board. I'm completely wrong. There you go. There's a couple kickers. Jose Borealis.
Get Jose.
Or Evan McPherson if we want. But I want to give you a fair chance here, chat. Daz Newsome.
Put Jose on the on the board.
Okay, not defensive backfield, guys. Not defensive
Let's
backfield.
try to avoid that. Wide receiver, if you guys want to double up, here's what you're looking at. If you want to, Shea Smith, I know a lot of people like. Way down there.
Love Shea Smith. Cornell Powell's a solid player.
That's right. Everyone keeps wanting to look at linebackers, but we haven't drafted one yet at this point. Patty Fisher, KJ Britt.
I would take Britt every day over Fisher twice on Sundays.
That's the important day,
I actually
too.
have like a budding pretend feud with Grant Stewart just because of his hair. But a solid player. I think a special teams player, next level.
A lot of Buddy Johnson fans in the chat. Everyone's saying Buddy Johnson. There's the Shea Smith. Daz or Dez. Josh Palmer is there too as well.
Palmer's a solid player as well. I would still take Cornell Powell over Palmer, but solid player.
I should let you guys see.
Palmer 313? Was that his?
Let me see what he. Yeah, 313 in their player
That
rankings, but all the way up at 168 in terms of their predictive board.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll put Josh Palmer on your list. What else are we looking for, chat? Buddy Johnson. Seen a lot of Buddy Johnsons. We'll put him on there. I'm not even looking at the DBs. Not allowing that to happen.
But do you have any DBs who can kick?
Did Darden go already?
Yes. It appears so.
I think you got to go with Shea Smith.
I can throw Shea Smith on there.
What's interior defensive line look like? I can't see them leaving this draft without some big body.
Anyone there you like? We're on the predictive board here.
I have a huge man crush on Mustafa Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe got a little bit too draft pervy, talking about his thighs at the College Gridiron Showcase. I think this is a good spot for him. I think he's going to be an impact player. But no, not a lot of great value there.
Chat,
Wild Goose.
Do you really want me to do that? Yes. Everyone in chat is saying Wild Goose, and I feel like I shouldn't allow you guys to do that. I'll put him on the list.
Only if we're converting him to wide receiver. Or just to distill vodka for us. Because he has a name like he should be making alcohol.
All right, chat. I don't know why, because whenever I put the joke answer on, we always know that's the one that actually gets voted for. What's his first name? Rashad?
God, Wild Goose. And I think he's like junior or the third or something too.
He is a junior.
So there was another Rashad Wild Goose out there somewhere.
One would assume his father.
Well, you would think so, yeah.
All right, so the poll did not like Shea Smith. I think they thought I was saying shit. So it's now just Smith as an option. But there you go. Your choice for your last draft choice in the class. Buddy Johnson currently running away with it, which is weird because all chat was saying was Wild Goose. Maybe they're holding on to those votes for the end. Chat screws it up again. Looks like it's going to be Buddy Johnson. I'm actually proud of chat for not doing the joke answer.
We did it together, guys.
We can pick him up on a vet minimum. Smart. UDFA. All about that UDFA game. All right, Buddy Johnson is your guys' final pick. Congratulations. Buddy Johnson. All right. Let me Now, save our draft. So this is POD draft. And then I'm going to screenshot your draft, and I'm going to correct it because you guys did not get Jonathan Cooper. Instead, you got Sean Wade. All right. Now, there's yours. Let me pull up ours. And we're going to vote on who had the better draft here. POD draft. Ooh. All right. Those are the two drafts. Those are your two options. Let's go through them again really quick. Our draft, we both grabbed Penei Sewell. Then we got Christian Barmore, Amari Rogers. We got Christian Barmore, by the way, on a trade down in which we picked up, I believe, a 5th and a 2022 4th. Get Chaz Surratt at linebacker, Quinn Meinertz at 112, Austin Watkins, 153, and then Tay Gowan. Y'all got Penei Sewell, Terrace Marshall, Richie Grant, Kelvin Joseph. Then you traded back and got Sean Wade, picked up an extra pick, Ellerson Smith, and Buddy Johnson is that extra 6th round pick. Those are your two drafts. Before I get to chat's votes on them, how about our panel? Which one do you like more? Do you like both of them? Do you think both of them are crap? What are your thoughts on both these drafts?
I think chat did just a god awful job, and you're all fired, every single one of you. No, it wasn't that bad. I like ours better, and for a reason that Shadi said earlier was just there's a lot of value in what we got. We got minors, kind of late. We got two decent wide receivers. Sewell will obviously be the top draft pick of both of our boards, but I don't know. I mean, overall, I hate both of them, with a passion. I think they're both absolute nightmares. The only guy I would take in real life from our draft is the defensive lineman Barmore. But yeah, this would be a nightmare for the Lions if either of their drafts rolled out like this. But we win. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
What about you, Shadi? What do you think?
I think the lack of trading back in the first round both times was a real hindrance, not only just because, of course, y'all want to trade back, but because of the way the boards fell. With those top pass catchers really falling off, it left you with fewer options. And I think as much as we talk about the depth of the wide receiver class, there aren't a ton of guys to get excited about after those first 4 or 5. And then you start getting, Austin Watkins or Jalen. So I get what you're saying, Mike, but I would be really excited with our draft class. I'd be less excited about a real defensive back heavy because, as I said, I don't know if those guys are. I'll put it this way: for some 6th round picks next year, I think you're getting similar players. I don't love overstocking the room in a really weak draft class.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point about the wide receivers because you're right. We talk about this class as deep, but when you get to that depth, you're talking about either slot guys or number 2 guys, and that's what the Lions already have. They have number 2 guys. They need that primary 1 guy, and I don't know if they get one past 41. They might not even get one at 41. They might have to take one in the first round if they really want to take a true number 1 receiver. And the Lions might get lucky, and one of the guys they grabbed in free agency might have a breakout year, but I still think either of those guys, their ceiling is probably wide receiver 2.
Right, but honestly, the way the boards fell, unless you're getting Pitts or Chase, or I don't even know if I like Waddle as a pure number 1 option. And I like Waddle, but I think once Chase and Pitts are off the board, you sort of have to settle in with, okay, we're going to have, sort of a Z-type receiver who's going to get the looks of a number 1.
I think Chase and Waddle are 1A, 1B. Honestly, I mean, I think that there's just so much you can do with Jalen Waddle. and not even just from a receiving standpoint, but from the decoy standpoint. I mean, he's gonna make defenses honest because he can do anything that you want him to do, and his yak ability is just incredible. I mean, the guy, he averaged like 22 yards a catch last year. I mean, that's big. And I think he had the most 20+ yard catches of any receiver in the country too. So I think you got to go with Waddle. I think I would go with him over Chase. I really would.
Wow. Meh. All right,
No,
chat.
man.
The poll is up on Twitch. If you want to vote,
we gotta throw it on Twitter too. Throw it on Twitter so I can.
Yeah, we can do that too.
I'm not a twitchy kind of guy.
Right now it's literally even. We're at 50-50 split, which is always telling when chat's voting against themselves. They lost last week. They might lose again this week, but right now they're up. Oh, now they're up 11-9. Pretty
Tell you
close.
what, if the Lions draft anything like this, I'll be a twitchy guy.
All right, you guys have about 50 seconds left. I gave you guys 2 minutes to vote on this one since this is extremely important. Still very, very close, chat, with a minor lead here. Jay Levinson says Sean Wade sucks. Well, we got him in the 5th round, so.
Most 5th rounders do, if it in terms of balance.
True. Chat got him in the 5th round, I should say. We didn't.
We talked about him.
We did. He's an interesting prospect. Very, very interesting prospect. Looks like
the Raiders are going to draft him in the 1st round, though. So let's be real.
True. Well, chat, it looks like you're going to vote yourself as winners, which means you're very. You know what? You're selfish, but I like the self-love, even if it's wrong. There you go. Chat wins 56 to 44%. Congratulations, chat. We are going to put this to a poll on Twitter as well. I love that idea just to see what they think, because I don't know. You guys might not be the most objective, and we probably aren't either. So with that, I think let's close things up here. Michael Shoddy, as a guest here, I want to give you an opportunity to promote anything of yours, whether it's your Twitter, your podcast, your life, someone that you really, really like out there. The floor is yours for a couple while because we appreciate you joining us tonight.
Yeah, again, thanks. It's been fun. Actually, like, as we've been doing this, there's been a lot of like Justin Rogers, Ty Shelter, Scott Warheit, a lot of people talking about the literal murderer's row. We used to have at M Live back when I was just screwing around over there. So follow me on Twitter at Shoddy. Follow our podcast. We're the 3 and Out Pod. Me, Ty Shelter, Samantha Button from NBC Sports. We literally just dropped a pod again during me doing this. Ty dropped the pod from this morning. Aditi Kinkwabala from NFL Network.
Nice.
We had some good talks. So we do not stick to sports by any means, but it's tighter sports talk. We don't like to screw around. It's like tight 40-minute episodes. I think you'll enjoy it. So give us a 5-star review on iTunes if you feel that's appropriate. Leave us a review and enjoy our podcast as well. Like I've enjoyed being on with you guys here at Pride of Detroit.
Thanks again, man. Mike Payton, anything you want to say to the group out there? Besides that their draft was horrible.
Just the same as always. I appreciate you guys very much for coming on. And Michael, thank you for joining us today. I was super happy to net you as a guest. I told Jeremy that I would get us a good guest or die trying, and I feel like I did so.
You followed up, for sure.
I think you failed. But
oh, okay.
Appreciate that.
Mel Kiper won't answer my text, so we went with you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reading our stuff. Thanks for commenting. The usual stuff. I appreciate you guys.
All right. As always, at the end of our streams, we're going to go raid one of our friends on Twitch, and it looks like pretty much only got our good friend Alex Reno out there playing some Fall Guys right now. So if you want to stick around on Twitch, ask him a bunch of draft questions if you'd like, or just root him on playing some Fall Guys. We're going to go raid him. Until next time, which will probably be Monday, where we do a full draft preview. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you're following us on Twitch, on YouTube, all that sort of stuff. And we will see you guys on Monday. Bye, everybody. All right, raid.